For 7 chapters, a father has been speaking about wisdom. He has described her, praised her, and commanded his son to pursue her. He warned of what happens when you ignore her. He has compared her to silver and gold and fine jewels. He has said she is better than all of them. He has told you when you find her, and what she will do for you when you do. But in all that, wisdom has never spoken for herself. Proverbs 8 changes everything. In this chapter, wisdom steps forward and speaks in the first person. What she says about herself goes far beyond anything her father has said on her behalf. She tells you where she stands. She tells you who she is. And she tells you what she produces. She tells you where she was when the world was made. If you've been following this series, you have been waiting for the chapter that makes the whole thing land. This is it. Welcome back to Proverbs for Modern Life. I'm William Tarbush. This is part 8 of our walk through Proverbs chapter by chapter. If you are new, Proverbs 1 through 7 have been a sustained instruction from a father to his son, the most extended teaching unit in the entire book. Every chapter is circled back to the same question. Will you pursue wisdom, or will you choose something that only looks like it? Proverbs 8 is the answer wisdom gives when she speaks for herself. The chapter has 4 movements: wisdom's public call, where she stands, and who she is calling to, what wisdom claims to produce in the life of the person who finds her, the astonishing pre-creation section where she describes being present at the foundation of the world, and the closing invitation, which is the most direct chapter in the entire book. Let's go through it. The chapter opens with a question, verse 1. Does not wisdom call, and understanding lift up her voice? And then immediately answer, yes, and here is exactly where she is standing, verses 2 and 3. On top of the heights beside the way, where the paths meet, she takes her stand. Beside the gates, at the opening of the city, at the entrance of the door, she cries out. The heights, the crossroads, the city gates, the entrances, every location in that list is a high-traffic place. There are places where everyone passes. Wisdom is not hiding in a corner where only seekers who already know where to look will find her. She is positioned where the crowds are. And then verses 4 and 5 tell you who she is calling to. To you, O men, call, and my voice is to the sons of men. O naive ones, understand prudence, and O fools, understand wisdom. The naive and the fools, not the already wise, and not the scholars who have devoted their lives to understanding. The people most likely to walk right past her are the ones she is addressing directly. That is important because it removes the excuse that wisdom is only available to people who are already inclined toward it. She is not calling to those who have already arrived. She is calling to the people who need her most, in the places they cannot avoid, in a language they can understand. And she immediately established what kind of speech she offers, verses 6 through 8. Listen, for I will speak noble things, and the opening of my lips will reveal right things. From my mouth will utter truth, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness. There is nothing crooked or perverted in them. This is wisdom's first claim about herself. She tells the truth. Everything she offers is straight. Nothing in her speech is engineered to deceive or manipulate. Contrast that with Proverbs 5, 6, and 7 described. The adulteress whose lips dripped honey, the worthless man with a perverse mouth, the cunning woman whose every word was designed to answer the objection before it was raised. Wisdom is the opposite of all of that at the level of speech. And verse 11 closes the section with a summary that Proverbs 3 already established, now said in wisdom's own voice. For wisdom is better than jewels, and all desirable things cannot compare with her. The father said that about wisdom. Now wisdom says it about herself. That is not arrogance, it is identification. She knows what she is worth. The second movement is wisdom describing what comes with her. Verse 12. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence, and find knowledge and discretion. Wisdom does not arrive alone. She brings prudence, which is the capacity to read a situation accurately. She brings knowledge, which is information rightly ordered. And she brings discretion, which is the judgment to know what to do with what you know. And then verse 13 adds something that can be missed in a quick read. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. Pride and arrogance and the evil way and the perverted mouth I hate. Wisdom hates pride. She hates arrogance. She hates the evil way and crooked speech. Notice what these 4 things have in common. They are all forms of self-elevation or self-deception. Pride that puts itself above correction. Arrogance that refuses to be taught. The evil way that looks right to the person on it. The perverted mouth that says one thing and means another. Wisdom is not compatible with any of those. They are not things she finds mildly inconvenient. She hates them. You cannot hold on to pride and hold on to wisdom at the same time. Then verse 17, which is one of the 2 anchor verses for this chapter. I love those who love me, and those who diligently seek me will find me. 2 things in that verse worth separating out. First, wisdom loves those who love her. This is not a transaction, it is a relationship. The person who pursues wisdom is not working against an indifferent force. Wisdom is responsive. She moves towards the one who moves towards her. Second, diligently, not occasionally. Not when it is convenient, or when a crisis arrives that requires good judgment, diligently. The person who finds wisdom is a person who has been looking for it consistently enough that the finding is not an accident. And then verses 18 through 21 describe what she carries. Riches and honor are with me, enduring wealth and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold, even pure gold, and my yield better than choicest silver. I walk in the way of righteousness, in the midst of the paths of justice, to endow those who love me with wealth, that I may fill their treasuries. Wisdom is not promising spiritual reward in the abstract. She is describing material and social outcomes, enduring wealth, honor, full treasuries. This is consistent with everything Proverbs has said since chapter 2. The life built on wisdom is not diminished. It is the life that actually accrues. The wisdom path gets brighter, as Proverbs 4 said. Here, wisdom itself describes what that brightness looks like. Now the chapter goes somewhere that nothing earlier in the Proverbs prepared you for. Verses 22 and 23. The Lord possessed me at the beginning of his way, before his works of old. From everlasting I was established, from the beginning, from the earliest times of the earth. Wisdom is not a human invention. She is not a body of knowledge accumulated by generations of careful observers. Though that knowledge participates in her, she predates everything. She was established before the works of old, from everlasting. And then verses 27 through 30 describes what she was doing when the world was made. When he established the heavens, I was there. When he inscribed a circle on his face of the deep, and when he made firm the skies above. When the springs of the deep came fixed. When he set for the sea its boundaries, so that the water would not transgress his command. When he marked out the foundations of the earth. Then I was beside him, a master workman, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing before him always. As a master workman. That phrase is the center of the entire chapter. Wisdom was not an observer at creation. She was not a spectator who happened to be present. She was a master workman and artisan. A craftsman working alongside God in the construction of everything that exists. Which means that when you pursue wisdom, you are not just pursuing a good strategy for making decisions. You are aligning yourself with the structural principle by which the world was built. The universe was made with wisdom woven into it. When you operate by wisdom, you are working with the grain of how things actually are. And verse 31 adds one more detail that could be overlooked. Rejoicing in the world, his earth, and having my delight in the sons of men. Wisdom delights in people. She is not a cold principle. She is not an abstract force. The master workman at the foundation of creation has her delight in the sons of men. That is who she is calling to form the crossroads and the city gates, not reluctantly, with delight. The chapter ends the way it began, with a direct address to the listener, verses 32 through 34. Now therefore, O sons, listen to me, for blessed are those who keep my ways. Heed instruction and be wise, and do not neglect it. Blessed is the man who listens to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at my doorposts. Watching daily at my gates and waiting at my doorposts. That image is not passive, it is a posture of someone who has made finding wisdom the regular orientation of their day. Not a crisis prayer, not a last resort before a major decision. Daily habit of showing up where wisdom is. Verse 35, the second anchor verse. For whoever finds me finds life, and obtains favor from the Lord. 2 things again. Life and favor from the Lord. Life in Proverbs is not not just biological continuation. It is the kind of thing that is worth living. That the substance and direction and the quality that Proverbs has been describing since chapter 2. And favor with the Lord is not a vague spiritual benefit. It is this concrete experience being aligned with the one whose image wisdom herself was forged. And then verse 36 closes with the sharpest statement in the chapter. But he who sins against me injures himself. All those who hate me love death. Not he who ignores me misses out, injures himself. The person who chooses against wisdom is not a neutral choice. The injury is self-inflicted. The harm does not come from wisdom withholding herself. It comes from the person moving against the grain of the world they live in. And the final phrase, all those who hate me love death. Not the people who have never encountered wisdom, not the people who lacked opportunity, those who hate her. Choice is that stark, and wisdom is the one saying no. Proverbs 8 says 3 things that no previous chapter has done. First, it gives wisdom a voice. Everything said about wisdom up to this point was a description from the outside. Chapter 8 of wisdom with describing herself. And that matters because it means the case for wisdom is not just a father's preference or a cultural tradition. It is wisdom's own testimony about what she is and what she offers. Second, it grounds wisdom in creation. This is not a small point. If wisdom were the master workman at the foundation of the world, then living wisely is not merely a great personal strategy. It is living in alignment with the architecture of reality. The person who chooses foolishness is not just making a bad personal decision. They are working against the grain of how everything was made. Third, it makes mistakes unmistakable. Verse 35, whoever finds wisdom finds life. Verse 36, whoever sins against wisdom injures himself. The choice between wisdom and folly is not a preference. It is a life or death orientation. The question that chapter leaves is not a simple one. When did you last watch at wisdom's gates? Not in a moment of crisis. Not when you needed a decision made quickly. On a Tuesday morning when nothing was urgent. That is what daily faithfulness to wisdom looks like. And that is the person verse 35 is describing. Proverbs 8 is wisdom's longest speech in the entire book of Proverbs. And the reason it is so long is that what is being offered here is so significant that it offers a full introduction. Wisdom calls out from the crossroads of everyday life. She is not reserved for anyone. She is for the simple and the strong, the young and the old, the ruler and the ordinary person just trying to make it through the week. She was present in creation. She delights in mankind. She is more valuable than silver, or gold, or rubies. And she promises plainly that those who seek her will find her. So the question this chapter leaves us is a simple one. Are you listening? If this video helped you, I'd appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe. We're working through Proverbs one chapter at a time, applying what we find in modern life. Next week we'll be in Proverbs 9, where wisdom and folly make their final competing offers, and we find what it means to truly accept one and reject the other. Thanks for watching. God bless you.